What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 182 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today, a huge game, ladies and gentlemen. We are taking on Bayern Munich. I feel like with the Champions League, within your group, there's usually one other team, that other team who you know that you're going to be battling it out with for the top dog spot, and those games against that team always feel that little bit bigger, and that's certainly the case today. We take on Bayern Munich. You can see both ourselves and them won our first two games, but now we get to dance off against one another. And well, if it was a dance off, we would win by a country mile with me, but well, the dancing is done by our regens, and it's done by them on the pitch playing that football sport thing. Talking of which, playing that football sport thing, since you were last here, we've played 6 games in all competitions, and well, a sea of green continues. Yes, we have not slipped up yet in a competitive match this season. That feels pretty nice to say. Let's try and keep it going today, although it's going to be a tall order. Of course, last episode we took on Fenerbahce. Since then we've played, as I said, the 6 games, and a sea of them away from home. Only one game at home in this run. So to continue going unbeaten is superb, and while this first result was against Burnley, a 2-0 result in this one. It took until the second half for Mike Frost to get on the back post to nod the ball goalwards. Ended up being an opener for us, and then Matasevic from the dead ball situation made sure of it. A stupendous long-range free kick in truth. Sailed into the top corner, 2-0, and well, following on from that, another clean sheet, another comfortable win. You'll see here the team was heavily rotated. Morrigan in goal for the EFL Cup. We took on Blackpool 5-0. A nice variety of goal scorers as well, which is always a pleasant thing to see. The next game we had was against Brighton, a team who, similarly to Burnley, if I'm not mistaken, last year, both these teams caused us scares. And, well, Brighton, to be fair, nearly caused us a scare here. They got off to the best possible start with a goal inside the first 15 minutes. And, well, from there, we bounced back well, actually. We got 2 goals. The first through Stevie Norman, who, to be honest, much like last year, has come into the team and is just turning into Mr. Assister. Yeah, he doesn't score too many, although actually, to be fair, he scored a few, but certainly his assists and his pure creativity is where he really shines. He got 1. Anyway, then Shvetsov got another in the 32nd minute. It was 2-1 at half-time, which didn't really feel comfortable in this game. It was a very hard-fought affair. And well, Matthias Au scored for them just after the hour mark. He scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken, to get Brighton a draw against us last year. There was a lingering feeling of deja vu in this one, but that was smashed. It was broken, the illusion, because Elias Schumacher, the German, was lurking at the back post. He managed to knock it goalwards, and he finished off the game with a goal. His first goal, actually was it? I don't think it is his first goal in the league. He's got 2 if we look here. I could read. But yeah, he's actually turned up really, really well, the German. 26, perfectionist. He's introduced himself in the best possible way, and getting the winner in that game there wasn't a bad way to go about doing his business. Anyway, we then took on Zenit in the Champions League, similarly to Fenerbahce, who we took on previously last episode, a game that you expect us to win, and well, we came away with the expected win. 3-1 it finished, a nice variety of goal scorers. Dylan Turnbull got us off to a really good start, and well, following on from that, they replied through a player that you may recognise, Medipur, one of the Iranian forwards we had a few years ago. We sold him to Saint Etienne, and well, he's ended up in Russia, and to be fair, he looks like a very good player. He scored for them, but it wasn't enough, as in the second half, the remaining 2 of our rotation front 3 grabbed goals. Yes, it was kind of all the backing cast, and all the backups, all the stand-ins coming in and getting the goals, which was lovely to see, and in the end, 3-1. I don't know if it flattered them a little bit. I feel like it could have been a few more, to be honest, and had it not been for Medipur's superb little finish, to be honest, they didn't ever really look like scoring. Anyway, just having a quick look at Medipur here, you can see he's a very, very well-rounded player, incredible in the air. Obviously, his finish in that game there was just an exceptional finish with the ball at his feet, but not a bad player by any means. He's only 22, although his birthday is coming up. And yeah, he's just a super well-rounded striker, I think it's fair to say. Interesting always to kind of see one of our former players just cropping up in an unusual place, and that was certainly the case there. Anyway, the next game we had was against Aston Villa, a team who have had a bit of a weird past in terms of the last few years. They've got a tycoon takeover, entered the Premier League. This year, if we just look at them, their media prediction was 13th. They currently sit in 6th. So going into this game, they had a lot of expectation. Of course, they've got Nico Roth playing left back for them. We sold him to them for 61 million last year, and to be fair, he's done okay, I suppose. However, you may have noticed the goal scorer for them in their game against us here was, in fact, Palazzolo. A player who I'm sure many of you are quite fond of. I remember at the time the sale of him was not a popular decision. That was 5 years ago now. £52 million we received for him. And to be fair, judged by his goal-scoring record, I would make a very strong argument that we made the right decision to sell him when we did. But he's doing the business, Aston Villa. Aston Villa kind of our B team. Unfortunately, didn't help them here. 5-1 it finished. Shvetsov with a hat-trick. And that was not too dissimilar to the games we've had against the likes of West Brom and Everton, where the goals just flow and flow and flow, and the team who we're playing against just can't really stop us. Anyway, the most recent game was against Crystal Palace. This was not comfortable. Shvetsov with the solitary goal from a corner, a near-post header. That was the only way we were going to break the deadlock, it felt, in this game. Palace defended very, very well. And, if we just have a quick look at the league table here, you'd think with us winning all our games we would be top dog. We are, but only on goal difference. Yes, Manchester United, they've only conceded 3 goals. We've conceded 9, but we've also scored 34. I'll let you decide which you would prefer, the 34 goals or only conceding 3. I think for me, just averaging more than 3 goals a game is probably the more desired outcome. That's the one that I would lean towards, at least. But yes, both ourselves and them on 27 points. You can see it's then Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea, and then way off the pace down in 12th. Man City, they have lost their way. A few of their key players getting on a little bit. You can see their team here, a few familiar faces certainly. However, you look at the likes of Ashley Walker now, aged 33. Of course, they've lost Kai Havertz in recent years. Mbappe's left them in recent years. They were still expected to be second in the league, so this is nothing short of a disappointment. But they're struggling after 9 games. Only 2 wins, man. That is pretty blooming shocking if you ask me. Bit of a disaster for Man City. You can see here, looking at the stats, Shvetsov leading the way with 12 goals. The next highest only has 6. And Mike Frost is one of 2 players who have those 6 goals. Average rating-wise, Holman has done absolutely superbly. Someone mentioned this on the Discord server recently. Holman is just a really unsung hero, I feel like. It's easy to kind of ignore what he contributes at centre mid, but it's worth noting that in the last 2 years when we've got knocked out in the Champions League, Holman's been out injured. And I definitely agree with the opinion that we play a lot better when this man's on the pitch. He's 28, he's entering his prime. You can see here, 3 goals and 4 assists. Last year, he got a decent average rating for his position. I definitely feel like this guy's just a bit of a game changer. He really brings out the best in our team. But anyway, this is a quick look at how we're going to go into today's game against Bayern Munich. Our squad is at full strength. Gaultier, a big moment for him, of course, playing against his former club, the Frenchman. He's going to want to get one over on them. The rest of the team, pretty much what you would expect at this point. We've kind of found our rhythm, found our groove as of late in this last month. There's been an opportunity to rotate the team. We've done it and we've continued to get the results. Now it's time for the first team to hopefully do the business on the pitch. Of course, this is one of those few games that you get every year in Europe where it's like a good chance to see how you do against one of the big top dogs. I do want to stick with our current main system. However, I have been thinking about coming, into the knockout rounds, how we might change things up. I'm leaning, and I'd be curious to know opinions on this, I'm leaning on the opinion that I might play a 4-4-2 with Cancina on the left and Matasevic on the right. Great save by Smoljo there, by the way. Near post header, had absolutely no time to react. That was huge 2 minutes in. But yeah, I'm leaning on the idea that maybe we try something with Matasevic and Cancina out in the wide areas, potentially in the knockout rounds. I feel like for the group stage, I want to stick with this system and see how we get on. Obviously, we met Bayern Munich less than 6 months ago in the Club World Cup playoffs for 3rd place, and we beat them 2-0 using this system. So I know that we can beat them on our day playing our brand of football, and of course, since then, the team has only got stronger. As Norman blisters through. Can he finish it? Oh my word. Steve Norman, you are absolutely filthy. Not sure about the roly-poly technique, but Gaultier gets the assist. But it's all on Stevie. It's all on Stevie Norman there. Picks the ball up just at the edge of the centre circle in our own half. Just uses his explosive pace just to break through. And then the finish. Tucks it down into the bottom corner. Makes it 1-0. Sometimes these matches are kind of decided, these big ones between big clubs, are decided by just individual moments of brilliance. That might be one that we've just seen there from Steve Norman. Just an incredible little finish to tuck it into the bottom corner. Let's see if we can perhaps just get a little bit of momentum going now. Maybe we can let this game run away from Bayern Munich before it's too soon. On the flip side, we do need to start defending right away. We can't get complacent, and while they're whipping the ball in, Cesar heads it clear. Gauthier launches it. Already one assist to his name, the former Bayern Munich man, and well, I thought for a second he was going to get another. Shretov was breaking through, couldn't get on the end of it, although Frost could get on the end of this. Hits it, saved away by Arndt. What an insane stop by him. Danger might not be gone yet, but we're knocking on the door. The goals feel likely. They've had one shot so far in the opening 25 minutes, and ball's back post. Frost is there, makes it 2-0. Vincent with an assist. I've talked about it the last couple of episodes, but the wing-backs this year, I've tweaked a few things in terms of putting them back onto complete wing-back. Actually removed a few additional player instructions that I had on the wing-backs. And I feel like they've just played better as a result, and you're kind of seeing the fruits of our labour here. 2-0 up against Bayern Munich. We've been by far and away the better team. I'm sure it's not going to be particularly popular in Germany, the fact that Mike Frost, the German international, is beating and scoring against German representation in the Champions League, but we're not going to complain. Looks like at the break here it's going to be 2-0, barring any kind of late action. Based on this first half, I have every right to be happy, but I'm still going to tell the players I'm not happy. I want them fired up. I don't want them getting complacent. I don't want them taking their foot off the pedal. And we're going to go straight into a shouty to get them focused on the task ahead. Norman might have suffered a bruised ankle. I mean, it's a disaster. Holman's not had the best of games, which is kind of ironic considering how much I'd been bigging him up. We're going to bring in Matasevic for him. Equally, Kaiser's been a little bit quiet, so I'm going to bring in Andre as well. I mean, when you can bring on Andre and Matasevic as subs, it's not even really weakening your team, is it? It's just like putting in a fresh pair of batteries. The quality doesn't drop of the actual product. There's just a new level of energy throughout the team. Now, Norman has got a little bit more injured here. Let's be sensible. The fact that he's kind of bruised it twice feels unlikely, so that might be a slightly more serious injury. And, right on cue, after I make the change, it turns out it may well be a more serious injury. Let's hope that our physio was correct in their analysis and it is just a little bruise on his ankle, bless him. But that could cause us a bit of a problem or two, I suppose. Anyway, the game has slowed down in the second half. We've not had a goal in about 40 minutes. Could we get one more to complete the rout? I feel like 3-0 at a glance always looks so much more dominant than 2-0 when you look at it just as a scoreline. Even if, with 2-0, I feel like it's a good result. 3-0, you just sit and you go, oh, that was a spanking. That's the threshold of kind of a team was badly beat for me is 3-0. So I would love to get there, although as I ramble on about this, we need to defend here. And while Smoljo to the rescue again. He's not a huge amount to do the Croatian in goal, but to be fair, he's made some pretty big stops for us. That corner in the second minute was almost a turning point in the game, dare I say. Even at that early stage, a really golden opportunity for Bayern Munich to take the lead, and he held on to it. And since then, we've been just by far and away the better team. We've been in complete control. Not necessarily showed it with a load of goals, but Bayern Munich just never really looked like threatening our goal and never really looked like threatening our clean sheet. Smoljo keeps one, and we run out 2-0 victors at home. Of course, this is the home game against them, so we've got to remain vigilant. We've got to remain switched on. Things are going to be trickier when we end up going over to Germany to play them. But Gauthier, against his former club, is going to have an absolute party tonight, I imagine. Steve Norman has got a bruised ankle, so he's only going to be out for a day, which is a little bit of a relief for us. And in fact, he picked up man of the match in this game. I feel like he's been getting some deserved plaudits as of late, has Steve Norman. He's a player who a lot of people, I feel like, don't write off. That's not the right term, but, people don't appreciate what he does. He's a bit of an unsung hero, I suppose. You can see here, he's hit 20 agility, and the rest of his attributes continue to improve. Just an absolutely insane player. I mean, if he wasn't in the same team as the likes of Mike Frost, you'd probably think that he was one of the best strikers in any save game. In any other circumstances, in any other squad I've ever had, he'd probably be considered the star man, but unfortunately, he coexists with Mike Frost, and there can only be one top dog in Towlaw in terms of overall quality, and I think it might be Frost. If you disagree, please state your case in the YouTube comment section, I suppose. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. In terms of when we're going to be back next time, I talked about it yesterday, but we're going to be doing the Bayern Munich and Manchester United games as a double header. I may take a day off Park to Prem tomorrow, just because I've been doing a lot of late hours recording and getting games done in order to be able to bring you these episodes daily. Sometimes it's good just to have a little catch-up day or two. But you can see here, we've got Bayern Munich and Manchester United as a double header. And then following on from that, we've got a few really tricky games in the month of December. In fact, in the league, we've got Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester City all back to back to back. So, yeah, that's interesting. And Zenit sandwiched in for good measure, although hopefully by that point there, we'll be guaranteed to be top of the Champions League group and we can play the B team. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, a like is super duper appreciated. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.